Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Now, this is absolutely brilliant. An expert really exposes the myths of the Australia deal. Now, is SNP MP Angus Brendan McNeil an expert? Well, you might disagree, but one thing's for certain, he knows his onions, doesn't he? And well, he would do, being the chair of the International Trade Committee. Now, after dispatching the Brexit loon, that is Sammy Wilson, one of his colleagues at the committee meeting, Conservative MP Anthony Magnell, wanted to ask him a legitimate question about these new trade deals, basically saying, well, you just never know. They could be actually better for us than what you actually think they are. Well, Angus McNeil answered this question. Then he came out with this banger about this new Australian trade deal.
That is basically what is happening here. Yes, indeed, I'm glad to give it.
Thank him for his speech, and he's bamboozling us with some of the statistics. But isn't it the case in every one of the trade agreements signed either by the UK or by other countries, every economic forecast has always been underestimated? And in fact, the point is, as trade deals evolve as they go on, the development of professional services, of manufacturing, that actually enlarges it. So the forecasts are not accurate, and usually they're a fantastic underestimation of where we end up.
The Honourable Gentleman is a very fine member of my committee, if not the finest member of our committee, bearing in mind that there's two fine members at least in front of me here. And he's right, that the modelling can be wrong. But it's not usually out by the factors of £492 to £500. It's out by the £2 or £3. And what I would caution him is that if those models are saying it could be better, the flip side of that is Brexit could be worse than the 5% that's been modelled under the same sort of modelling criteria. So I hope it's not. I mean, I would rather the optimistic side, but let's be aware that this thing can go either way. There are winners and losers, we're often told, in these trade deals. And we've certainly identified the losers today, and as a crofter, which I've alluded to, the certain losses are hitting agriculture. But when there were winners and losers, we decided, or I decided as chair, to write the Australian High Commission if they could identify some losers in Australia that we could speak to. They wrote back to us and told us that everyone was a winner in Australia, and there was nobody at all that were losers. And we said that in the context. We said that in the context of the figures that were being mentioned earlier for Australia, and the figures for New Zealand are going to impact New Zealand alone. Agriculture, forestry and fishing will lose between 48 million and 97 million pounds. And the chair of the TAC, Professor Lauren Bartels, said he cannot think of another country that has a significant agricultural production, so not the Hong Kongs or the Singapores of this world, but liberalising it fully in agriculture, even over what is almost a generation. That is unusual. So the UK has done something very unusual here in really opening up. And it comes back to the point about free trade that was mentioned earlier. None of this is free trade. It's trade that still has restrictions. Rather than paying a tariff now, you need the paperwork. And as people have found, paperwork itself is quite costly. I'm reminded of the man in the weekend paper, the brewer, I think, from Kent, who'd lost a large part of his £600,000 export market in beer to the European Union, and it's now become a £2,000 market. He's lost 99.7% of his export because he's now not exporting, and he can't export to any country in the world the way he used to the European Union. He's going to need paperwork, and this paperwork is costly and clearly a hurdle. It's a hurdle to 99.7% of his trade. We're jumping on the wire for us, yeah.
Now, wasn't that a banger? No great surprises though, was it though? But it does show the reason why people like Anne-Marie Trevelyan, and I suppose in a little way, did Liz Truss, when it came to these International Trade Committee meetings, why they wanted to dodge these meetings so much, didn't they? I get the feeling they knew that what would be around the corner, didn't they? They knew their deal wouldn't stand up to much scrutiny. And I suppose in as hearts of hearts, we kind of got the feeling that they wouldn't anyway. So no surprises in what they wrote back to him, were there? Right. I do hope you enjoyed this little belter. I thought it were brilliant. So I shall leave the video here, and until the next time I shall bid you farewell and take care.